Alrighty. I am back again with Best BOB. That stands for Best Black Owned Business. If you didn't know, now you know. And I am your host, Melody I Am. And yes, I am Melody. So before I get into everything I want to talk about, because there's a lot of stuff going on, this is kind of like a redo video because I looked back in my last video. If any of you saw it, you probably noticed it was like foggy, and I was like, okay, like I can't go out like that. I am new to the streaming, not in the sense that I've streamed before, but it's a lot of setup. It's a lot of setup work, and so right now, I'm streaming from Facebook. Um, I am my favorite tea. You know what? I guess someone who I can't see your name, I can see the comments. And yes, I am sipping on my favorite tea in my favorite cup. This is peppermint tea. But I'm wondering, is that you, Coach Robinson? Because it doesn't show your name. And let's see. Okay, let's see. So that's what I was just going to explain about the setup involved with different social media outlets. So I'm streaming now on Facebook, um, also YouTube, and through the Best BOB Facebook group. But Facebook doesn't allow direct comments to come through. Where I can't see your name. I can only see your comments because Facebook has got that on lock. And so I would have to get a link for you. And I'm going to post the link in the comments. And if you click on the link, then it should give you access so that I can see your name while you're commenting. Probably because you just made wrong. I know that's got to be you, Coach Robinson. Okay, I'm going to get this link. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. I put the link in the chat box over there. So anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue with this live because it's a lot I got to pack. I'm sort of redoing a video, but I'm adding a little bit of different stuff because some new things came up. So let me just cover some housekeeping things first for anybody who's going to be tuning in on the replay. Yeah, they had you on lockdown. Yeah, I think I did hear something about that. I think you mentioned it was another Facebook account that you had or something like that. But yeah, we're all having, especially we Black folks, we're dodging. We have to create multiple accounts and things because they're shadow banning us. They're cutting our media content out, and that's like another story for another day. Maybe I need to do a live just on that alone. Man, I don't know why the link didn't show up because I can see it on my end. That's all right. We could just keep going because I know who it is just by how you're responding. So you know so anyway, the housekeeping things, let me just do this really quickly. Anybody who's going to come on who's not familiar with Best BOB, that is a Facebook group that I put together as well as this platform to welcome in black owned businesses and to encourage you, highlight what you're doing, look at your products, um, talk about your products, whether they be wonderful, great, in between, need a little work, just, putting it out there and providing our constructive criticism and support, most of all. So Best BOB is the place to lift up our Black businesses, where we love them, and our Black patrons, the customers, are valued as well. So I am also offering business consultations for anyone who would like to get some support in the areas of creating a business plan, um, brand identity. I work with a couple of young startup entrepreneurs in helping them get their brand identity together, understanding their audience, how to position their product, and things of that nature. So I would love for you guys to reach out. If you have someone that maybe you don't need that support. And right now, I am running a very affordable program for the consultations, which are $30 an hour, which is a steal. And that's the introductory rate that I offer, and that is for the first 4 sessions. And then I kind of work with people after that to see where they are and how much additional support they need, and building out their planning and helping to further them along to the next step in their business plans. So we just kind of go from there. And then the last housekeeping piece is that I I'm going to be doing a product review. Um, it just pretty much is a piece that I wanted to add to my programming. I'm still filling out programming right now because I'm looking at including Black news. I want to keep people up to date because I'm learning that a lot of people who are in my friends, Facebook friends, even my Facebook group, the Best BOB group, and just my friends that have friended me in Facebook for the last several years, I'm learning that there are certain things going on in our community that they're not aware of. And I'm actually, frankly, quite shocked because there's a lot of stuff going on. And if we're not involved to make sure that we are doing some kind of part, I would hope that everyone will want to contribute something to make sure this movement, which is referred to as the B1 movement, that means Black first, over anything, over religion, over ideology, over belief systems, over the Crips versus the Bloods, over the Hebrew Israelites versus the Moors, and versus. Like, we just ain't got no more time for the division anymore. And I was really surprised that some people that I know, and some that I don't know all that well, but I thought, hey, we're on social media. Like, aren't we, privy to this information? Isn't it coming to us? Where we would at least see it scroll past our screen. And even with that, I'm finding that people are, for lack of a better word, I'm gonna say just damn asleep. I mean, really, like, for real, just to keep it a buck. Sleep, sleep, like sleepwalking, sleep talking. Um, so okay, I can see your name now, Coach Robinson. I knew that was you. So let me see what you're saying. I'm gonna read what you're saying. Wow, they are putting out all the hoops for us to jump through just to communicate, how to see who commented. The person commenting needs to give StreamYard permission to access their name and picture. Once they've granted permission, all future comments will show their information. We've created a page to get their permission. Follow these steps, inform your viewers of the situation, if they would like to comment on your stream, they need to give StreamYard permission to access their name. I mean, like, that's a whole lot, ain't it? That's why, again, getting back to the whole B1 purpose, that's why we have to start coming together and banding together to create platforms of our own so that we can devise and design it the way that it fits the messaging and use that we need it to work in the way that it will help us get our message out and get our stories out and not make it so hard for us to do that. And we know that's by design, but we're going to keep on forging ahead anyway. And I'm glad you posted that so that I could see the full extent of how that works. So let me know if how you were able to click through. If it was, were you in Best BOB Facebook group, or were you just in your regular Facebook profile account? That's something I would like to know. So anyway, so as far as this platform is concerned, I'm still kind of working on the content and the format and what's a good way to connect with everybody. So bear with me, but I have a lot, so I need to kind of organize it and minimize it enough to where the message really gets across. So I will be talking about Black news, Black media, what is going on in our world, and not only in this country, but as well as in other countries, particularly Africa. So that would be pretty much the current events section. I will also be doing product reviews because this channel was created to support businesses. So anyone who would like their product reviewed on my channel, I do have in the description box, if you're watching from YouTube, the link is there, as well as on Facebook. I'm sorry, it's not a link. It would be my email address. And just in case you don't see that, my email address is best BOB biz @gmail.com. And I'm probably going to need to change that. It's kind of a mouthful, but it's the best bob biz @gmail.com. So anyway, so those are going to be the components of what I will present. I will also be giving some business tips in each video. So I'm pretty sure at this point in time, the way it's going to happen is there's going to be a separate live altogether, a separate live that I will present through YouTube. So if you're not a YouTube fan, then you're going to need to become a YouTube fan, because I'm finding that Facebook is, as you've already heard me discuss with Coach Robinson, Facebook is creating a lot more bull crap, to deal with. So um, I'm pretty sure the Black news and current events, I'm going to tackle those issues because they're pretty big. I'm going to tackle those in a separate live through YouTube, and I will focus on the business tips and the product reviews on Best BOB, mainly through Facebook, the Facebook Best BOB group, and as well as YouTube. So it'll be pretty much two different sides. It's almost like an alter ego for me too, because this Best BOB stuff is kind of on the lighter side, but I'm going to dig in real. I'm going to dig in real deep with both heels on, because there's so much stuff happening with our people that I'm tired of sitting around just listening to it. I got a lot to say about it. So on that note, let me start with who I want to start with. these people who, okay, so you know HR, if you're familiar with HR 40, I think that's the name of the bill that was presented. I think it's been a couple years now. And so now it's going through the House, through Congress for, they had a hearing about a week ago. And in that hearing, they were, they're still discussing. The bill is to discuss and develop reparations. So that means they have to vote on whether they will discuss, analyze, and develop reparations. So it's not like they're going to sign a bill and, oh, now it's reparations. Like anything else in government, some bullshit process or whatever. So what gets me is we get Herschel Walker as they had two Republican people that they could bring as I guess they call it a witness, and they had more Democrat witnesses, and I guess that's just because they're the majority now. So of the two, thank you, Coach Robinson, for posting that email address. You said in the right corner of my life, there is a black, red, blue heart. I clicked it and that info was there. Oh, cool. That's good to know. All right. So, okay. So Herschel Walker, I remember back in the 80s that he won the Heisman Trophy and all that. And it was like, whatever, blah, blah. I've never really been like a huge, super, um, um, sports fan, except for when my hometown Chicago Bulls kicked butt, and that was historical. So never really followed him anyway. But I'm going to read to you now. He was one of the people who was invited by the Republicans, I presume, to sit his dumbass up on in the Congress hearing and the judicial. Let's see, I have it right here. This is the reparations, the conservative, no, reparations during a congressional hearing. So that was about a week ago. And this is what went down. He said, this is sort of paraphrasing. He said that reparations might require Black Americans like himself to use genetics company 23andMe to calculate their pay by percentage of ancestry. And he argued African Americans also were involved in the slave trade, which the U.S. abolished in 1865. Now, first of all, it's was that supposed to be some kind of compelling argument? And and you saw how I read it. I read it very succinctly, and he was reading the whole time, first of all, okay? And he couldn't even pronounce the damn words. The way I read it, it didn't sound anything like that. It was more like, if we with reparation, I do not agree because I'm like black Americans like me will use genetics from 23andMe. Who will calculate their pay? Where will the money come from? Will all the races have to? I was like, oh damn. Let me take a sip. Mm, 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 mm. And that was a week ago. I'm still disheveled from that. He was actually reading like hooked on phonics. Who will calculate their pay? And then he was like, and the last time when I read the Emancipation Proclamation, he said the Emancipation Proclamation. It was absolutely horrifying. There are no words. I can't say embarrassed because he don't represent me, first of all, so I can't say embarrassed. Then he went on to say, we use, I'm going to say it, I'm going to read it how he was reading. We use black power to create white. And when he would say black, let me mind you, go look it up on YouTube or do your Google search. When he was saying black, I couldn't tell if he was saying block or block, because he was saying we use black power, create white guilt. My approach is biblical. How can I ask my Heavenly Father, forgive me if I can't forgive my brother? America is the greatest country in the world for me. A melting pot of a lot of great races, a lot of great minds that have come together with different ideas, make America the greatest country on earth. I'm done. I can't. Mom, when I was showing it to my mom, she was like, she couldn't even get past the first sentence. She was like, she we were in the car and she was like, she took her hand and just shoved the phone over to the side. I was like, well, I just, you have to, I'm like, you gotta listen to it so you can critique it to know how damn stupid it is. Oh man, I'm glad I feel better now. Kind of got that one out of my system. Cause man, I don't know what happened to black people like that. I do. It's called PTSD, and that's the post traumatic slave disorder. But my understanding is that this has kind of been his political positioning for a long time. But like I said, I never really followed that. I don't care. I have a whole different perception of sports now as well, in terms of how it pertains to the white folks over here, the owners. You barely got a couple of black quarterbacks, and the owners. I don't even like the sound of white owners of a team. They own a team, so that means they own the black man. Basically, at the end of the day, that's what it is. So as far as sports is concerned, that, to me, in my mind, I see a slavery auction block. Sorry, you know. Um, but yeah, that's Mr. Herschel Walker. And then, so that goes to the part of my title for this live, where I said, people still smoking crack, because I didn't know people were still smoking crack. And I'm going to have to say that he must be one of them. And then I have a couple other ones, just real quick, real quick. This has to do with Black History Month. Um, Seeing, so we got all these people who, particularly Black people, who want to come out and try to denounce and deny something that we have been recognizing, observing, and honoring, Black History Month, for years and years. And now these people want to come out and just totally, crap all over what has already been done. Like, you want to roll the clock back, really. So amongst those, I have here a Black teacher who was in, this was I think a middle school class, and refused to call Black History Month Black History Month, and decided that she was going to call it All History Month. Now, what does that remind you of, right? Don't that remind you of Black Lives Matter, and then everybody had to hijack it, and then, those other people on the other side had to force All Lives Matter as a comeback, as a rebuttal, as a direct uh, opposition. So what? So anyway, she, somewhere along the line, she retracted it and said, "Oh, I made a mistake," and all that. I think I'm gonna name this segment because I was thinking about it the other day, and this is gonna be a regular segment. I'm gonna call it whackish, crackish, or blackish. And basically, I'm going to sort of assign a certain level of consciousness to these people, right? Like what crackish mean, like, I mean, your brain is just really burnt. Your brain cells are gone. They're dead. You don't even know who you are, right? So um I'm gonna let her live. I'm gonna let her live because she came back and tried to correct it. So under the blackish, crackish, whackish multiple choice, I'll say that she was whackish. She was on her way to crackish, but I'll say whackish because that was whack as hell. Like, really. And then my third crack smoker of the day. So I should say second because I kind of let this teacher, I kind of let her slide. You know, maybe she only took a couple of hits and then went straight to rehab before she was able to completely do complete damage. But the last one I have here on the smoking crack list is another teacher, but this was in Tennessee. And funny enough, it is a student teacher, not even the official teacher, the permanent teacher, or should I say the head teacher. So this student teacher gets it in their mind that they're going to give an assignment to some fourth graders that they are to come up with the methods that they think that they should use, violent methods. What are the best violent methods for them to use to essentially keep their slaves in line? And this was supposed to be a Black History Month assignment to the children, right? Now, get this, the student teacher was a Black woman, you know, and that's why I'm going to create a separate platform for this type of stuff because I'm about to start calling all these people out. I'm just getting damn tired now, right? And apparently, now when I read the article, it was funny because they didn't specify the lead teacher's race. So I'm going to presume that that person was white. And it looks like they let the student teacher, dig their little ditch, let them do the dirty work and let them, get the backlash. Let them, take the brunt of the backlash because that's all the article really mainly focused on was that the student teacher was a Black female. Okay, see, that's how the media likes to operate. So yeah, so blackish, whackish, or crackish. Definitely crackish. Okay, ain't no blackness in none of these people. Herschel Walker, they all of these teachers, the student teachers, they all need to go to rehab. Black self-hate rehab. You get into a 12-step program and get it together, okay? Or just, go on over to the other side and just you don't have to do anything for Black History Month. You don't have, if I am going to get reparations, my ninja, what difference does it make to you? Who are you to come up to a group of white people to say, don't get him that reparation? If you don't want it, go sit your ass down somewhere. Like, really, that's it. For real. It's very simple. You don't have to, you don't speak for everybody. Who died and gave you that job? That's what I want to know. Like, really. So hopefully I got that out of my system because I've been thinking about it all week. I feel like, like something is about to explode on the inside and I'm just like, like I have to Who does that? What, like, really? He had the glasses. I put his eyeglasses on. He's reading like a like a. I don't even want to put a first grader down because I know I could read very well when I was in the first, second, third grade. You know, I mean, it was way too much. So I sure would anything, please put your comments if you watch this on the replay. I see Coach Robinson. You said, I'm gonna let's see what you said over here. FYI, all the mayors in North Carolina unanimously agreed Black people deserve reparations. And see, and that's what's crazy too, because you got so many people, even in that congressional hearing, that HW showed up to were in favor of it. So let me finish. Let me see what you're saying. They acknowledged the free labor, lack of land, interest, and other damages factored in came to 6.2 quadrillion. Somebody actually calculated it all the way to that extent. Wow. That the number after trillion. This would give all 41 million Black descendants of slaves $151 million. Talks of spreading it out over 10 years. Oh my gosh. And then that is amazing. But as wonderful as that sounds, thank you, Coach Robinson. I appreciate you so much how you just, provide information and really give some good feedback. The thing with that though is if I never got reparations, I'm not going to lose a day of sleep. We still got to live and we still have work to do as a people. So reparations is not going to just magically make all of that go away. It can help a lot because we will have means to do the things that we want to do. But these people got it twisted. The ones who feel like they got to get up there and fight against it, they got it twisted if they think that's going to hold us down. That's not going to hold us down. And they try to characterize people who want reparations or people who feel they deserve reparations. They try to characterize people like that as being lazy. No, the slave masters was being lazy while all the Black folk were doing all the work. Hello, that's what that's what repairing means, idiot. So I'm really not down with how they're trying to paint a picture of this lazy kind of, oh, well, they just don't want to do nothing. So they just want a handout. And he even used that phrase handout in his stupid little uh, school recital. So thank you, Coach Robinson. Yes, he is a disgrace. You're right. You're absolutely right. I've never seen one human being who could speak a certain amount of words that affected me the way that affected me in such a deep kind of way. I mean, obviously, when you hear somebody like Martin Luther King or uh, Malcolm X speak, it's like it moves you, but not move like just down to the core. Like I could just like drop kick that fool. Just man, it is so frustrating. But you know what? It's a lot happening though right now. What Black folks are doing a lot of good things right now, and I am even finding like-minded people where we are coming together. We're coming up with let's just say projects, for lack of a better word, because it's stuff that I really can't even talk about, but it's a lot behind the scenes going on, and that's what we really have to do. It's not about being all out there in the front, because it's better to, like they say, move in silence, and at some point, you can share certain things, but just do the work. do the work, find the like-minded people to make stuff happen, to get our economic situations intact, and to join our forces and share our resources um, across the globe. It has to be a global movement because we're scattered. That is the way it has to work. And I know many other previous leaders have presented this concept, such as the like of Marcus Garvey. But we're in a new day right now. It's very urgent right now. There's a lot going on. The players are shifting. If you look around, all you got to do is look around. You see the players and the powers that be are shifting, and we have to be on top of that as a people, so that we don't just get stuck in the middle somewhere. Actually at the bottom, because that's where they really want to try to keep us. So anyway, having said that, I want to bring up another topic. Okay, what are you saying, Coach? They just talk about it and don't put the rubber to the road. We still got to bust our butts in this racist country. Exactly, because there's always going to be some force that is there to try to stop or impede or, interject whatever it is that we're doing. And another simple thing that I really wish they would understand: just leave us to what we're doing. Leave us to it. You don't need to know everything about what we're doing. You don't need to, because that's what happens with many Black organizations historically, is that they become infiltrated. We don't need to, the kumbaya thing is cool and everything, but I believe, like what Malcolm said after he came back from Mecca, and he decided that, there are different people from different places who can be, on one accord. But at the same time, he knew that no, when the white girl asked how she help, it wasn't to say, oh, get out of here, we don't want your help. No, Black people need to do it for themselves. And then we could think about maybe, you know, um, um, collaborating with outside groups. And I use that word collaborate very tightly, not even loosely, because at this point I'm really not believing in allies. I'm really not. I mean, I believe every person, from no matter what walk of life, deserves to live and breathe and eat and move about freely, as no matter race, creed, color, whatever, all of that. I truly believe in that. But my focus right now is just leave us alone, to the extent that you don't need to be in our business. You don't need to interject what you think into what we're trying to do for ourselves, you know. And that goes for Black people too, who are um, stagnating the movement. You don't just go, if you don't think that there should be reparations, if you don't think that Black people should be in Black History Month, just, you don't have to even say anything. Just don't participate. It's just that simple to me, right? Just it's so stupid. Okay, let's see what you're saying now. Whites are the initial welfare recipients. They were given millions of acres of land, and when we demand what we deserve, they want us to use our bootstraps. Get the fuck out of here. What's WTBS? I think I know what you mean. I'm trying to keep this channel a little bit, but I'm going in on my other channel though. So I'm going to separate these topics out. So anyway, but yeah, so we have a lot of work to do, family. And it's very exciting to me because I'm really meeting a lot of wonderful people who think like me and want to learn, and they want to grow, and they want to put their energies and their efforts together so that, we are more powerful that way. That's what gives us that power. Um, he said, Coach Robinson said collaboration often turns into white infiltration to control our directors. Our direction. You're right. You're right. And that's why I said I use that word tightly, meaning, I don't even know what that looks like because I wouldn't even entertain it right now. I don't, it's not, I'm like, some people are like, oh, yeah, it's, like they have this open idea, this, receptive kind. No, I'm not. I'm not. It's almost like the world itself would have to turn into a completely different place, right, for that to happen. And I don't know what that's gonna be. We could probably be long gone. I don't know. But being a woman of a certain age, I might not be even still be here by that time. Looking at where we've seen our ancestors come from and where we are now, we know it's a road ahead. It's a long road still ahead. And what we do right now is critical, it's important, and we got to get up off our asses, get up out of this matrix type of thinking, this mindset, and think about the future. So I don't care what age you are right now, the purpose has to do with legacy and creating something better that your grandchildren, your children, your nieces, and your nephews have something that is going to be more within their control after we're gone. That's really what it's about. It really is. Everything that we're doing right now determines that, and everything we're not doing right now affects that. So with that said, I'm gonna go into my other news topic for today. I really don't try not to make this no more than an hour, so I think I'm doing pretty good. I don't know if you guys are aware. I posted on Facebook, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and this is another topic that I'm finding that there are several people who don't seem to be up on. They're not up on it. They're not up on the news, and that is regarding the Black militia, the NFAC. Now, for those of you who have been asleep or you took a long break since all the protests and riots of last summer, let me sort of refresh or inform you, enlighten you of who the group is, like what they've done. There's a lot of talk about them on the positive side and the negative side. And I'm just really here to just try to inform people because I don't understand how you just don't know a damn thing about it. I posted it yesterday, and one person said, I said, do you remember the Black militia that did the large formation last summer? And they were like, oh, yeah, it was the end of it. Was like one comment, and I posted a picture with a GoFundMe information. I posted that a couple of times, but the lack of response and the type of response that I saw pretty much told me, and even through my conversations with people, because I've even been asking people, have they heard? Oh, no, I never heard of that. So I'm like, it's just telling me a lot, just that alone. So the NFAC back in, I believe it would have been around May of 2020, when the Ahmaud Arbery jogger murder happened, when the three white guys conspired together because they saw a black guy and tracked him down and hunted him and closed him off and killed him in cold blood. The leader of NFAC, the Black militia, His name is John Fitzgerald Johnson. He also goes by the name of Grandmaster J, a name he had as a DJ in the hip hop world. And so he didn't even form all these men and women who collectively and eventually became NFAC. They hadn't even been formed yet in May. It was like he had a few people who was down to go, show up and show out and be present for the cause. And because it was 2 months that this case had already been, 2 months after the murder, and there was no investigation. It was like, how the good old boys do. It's like, oh yeah, they probably high-fiving and like, oh, so he was trying to steal. Oh, you think he was still? Oh, okay, that's it. And that's done, because that's how they do down there in, what was it? I know it's Georgia. I believe it's Brunswick. I believe was, and let me tell you, I've been down there before, not in it, right in it, but passing through. And I didn't need to go in it, because when I was passing through that part of Georgia, it is the sticks. Okay. And the way Grandmaster Jay described it when he went there, they had big, huge Trump banners, flat, like it. There's no way you could be lost on where you were if you rode up into a neighborhood like that. You knew where you were as a Black person. So I'm going to say GMJ just for short, so I have to say that long name. So GMJ was even surprised and shocked as to why, a Black man might feel comfortable, to jog through a neighborhood like that he must have, maybe he knew somebody, and maybe that was the reason. But regardless of that, uh, the mother of Ahmaud Arbery's mother wanted to go to the scene, and it's probably somewhere within the first month or two that nothing is happening on this case in terms of law enforcement doing their damn job. And so GMJ took his fellas, okay, took his people with him. I believe it was just a handful of people at that time, and they accompanied Miss Arbery to the scene so that she could see what happened to her son and where that was located. And the police showed up, and the neighbors came all outside of their houses. The little lily white people was looking around like, where are these Black men with these guns coming from? But the police did not, they didn't incite any kind of, physical altercation. I think they probably, I don't think they started getting permits then, because it was really more of a personal thing, but they were prepared. That's the point, really, is that they were prepared for whatever was going to go down. And then there was a white lady that even approached GMJ and his group, and was even kind of, dropping dimes. She was like, kind of giving up the goods, and like, oh, I knew those people was doing something. So it wasn't even just all people against them. They didn't have like just like a hostile um reception, like everybody coming out and charging them or something, or intimidating them. So that was kind of interesting. And it's probably because of the presence that they had. The presence that they showed was like, the name of the group, which is called, NFAC. If you don't know, the acronym stands for not effing around. Okay. So I'm sure that presence was very strong. And so that was the day that it was kind of born. I'm sure it was born in his mind, maybe even prior to that, because, things kind of evolve over time. But, he has even said himself that the climate with Trump and white supremacy being so widely expressed and outwardly expressed in these violent ways during that time, he said that that is what birthed the coalition, the NFAC. And then it just grew from there. It grew. The formations got bigger and bigger. They went to Stone Mountain, which is supposed to be the birthplace of the KKK, because that weekend with, and this might have been maybe June, July, all this stuff happened over last summer. They started hearing word that white people were going to start attacking black people in that area. So they showed up in a huge big force there. And they've done several formations, I think 4 in total. 2 of them in Louisville, Kentucky, in honor of the Breonna Taylor case. Um, that was 2 different, let me see. Yeah, it was 2 formations they did, and they really did sort of disrupt that city in the sense that, it took them off guard. They weren't ready. It was the Kentucky Derby where nearby, and that was supposed to be like, that's one of the big draws where people come and spend money. So that was kind of shut down for the formation to come through there. They do everything. They have done it all through permits ahead of time with local law enforcement. So they could not say anything wrong that these guys has ever done, in terms of not following the law. It's always been following the law. And so what bringing us up to today, to right now, in the last maybe month or so, I think it was about a month ago, he was arrested, and he was arrested by the feds. Kentucky, the state of Kentucky, brought their separate charges, and the feds brought their separate charges, 2 different cases. Put him on, I believe he was on house arrest, and I guess, do they call it a gag order? I guess it's a gag order, but I feel like his um, First Amendment rights were totally violated, because how do how can you just say, oh, you can't speak, you know? So he was not supposed to, well, he was not allowed. That was one of the conditions, I think, with his lawyer that they worked out in order for him to just be released. He didn't stay in jail. He was detained or brought into custody or whatever, but he didn't stay in jail. And that was part of the conditions for his release, that he could no longer speak and do his YouTube presentations and shows, that was his way of communicating to his base and to people who followed him. And so, the charges were bogus. They circulated a photo of one of those formations. Um, and it was the police department building, I believe, some type of law enforcement building, where they claimed that he lifted his rifle up at some of the law enforcement people who were on the top of the building. And by doing that, he violated, it was like a long laundry list of charges that they basically tacked on, you know. I can't even remember it. When I read it, it was so stupid, interfering, it was just like a list of, like, you could just, like, whatever they could think of, that's what it sounded like. Threatening, interfering, but yet he's down here, they're way up in the sky on the top of this building, and he had a flashlight on the end of his weapon. And this was at 8:30 at night. And so they are claiming that he was threatening. Now, if this was real, that was really true, do you think he would have lived? Okay, they around here shooting black men for less, way less. So that's how you know it's bogus. And the time that they brought the charges was 3 months after when the so-called incident happened. Okay, the bogus charge that they say occurred was during one of those formations 3 months before they brought the charge. Bogus all the way around. So the news today, and there's a lot of other stuff in between. There's been a lot of, what do I want to call it? There's been a lot of different YouTubers and people chiming in about who they think he is. He's fake. I mean, I've heard everything. He doesn't know anything about any weapons. And you know what? Maybe he didn't. But my thing is, well, who the hell else is doing it? Find me somebody else who's doing that. And I'm not saying there's no one else doing it, but if more than likely the people who would be making those comments, they're not doing it. They're not doing it. So they need to just really shut up as far as I'm concerned. You're not doing it. Now, I don't agree with everything he has said in terms of his ideology and his opinions, his persona. He's kind of like what I would call a bigger than life kind of persona. It comes across rather arrogant to some people who feel, that they don't like that, but they've used that to discredit everything else that he's done. And in my opinion, I'm just not seeing how you can throw away all that work, 7 months of the work that he did, that we've had leaders for 40 years, 20 some odd years, and they have not been able to do even near that kind of impact. Okay, so I can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like, that is just ridiculous to me. Okay, let me see what okay, I got a few more minutes left. Let me see what you saying, Coach Robinson. Yeah, the NFAC went. Oh no, let me start. I was wondering what happened with Grandmaster Jay since they arrested him. I haven't heard from him since they released him November 4th. Yeah, the NFAC went knocking on doors looking for the white murderers to address them. That's true. The murderers hid from them. I bet you they did. See, it ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun, and they're bold when it's them, but when it's somebody, when they get called out, they want to go hide. Um, in Stone Mountain, not a KKK member was in sight. Cowards. That's exactly how all of that went down. That's how it went down. And so, I don't pay a lot of attention to the haters, the naysayers, and what have you, until I can see something really, something really, how can I say, tangible, something substantial. That's the word I'm looking for. Until I can see something really substantial about any person, because I'm not going to co-sign and be caping for anybody, really, because people are people and people have flaws and they have weaknesses. And so we should never be idolizing people anyway, no matter how good of a job they do with leading, no matter how of a good of or effective of a leader they may be. We should not be idolizing and we should not be worshiping them. So definitely not supporting anything like that. But we also should not be condemning them. especially when you don't even know half of what they've done and you haven't done it yourself. You haven't even tried. So, bringing all this story up to today, the news that I got in Black media is that um, GMJ had I believe, his first court date since he was charged was today, sometime this morning in Louisville, Kentucky, and that there were five federal charges. Four of the federal charges were dropped. There's still one remaining that he has to fight, and then the state case is still pending. That's still ongoing. So there's still a fight. And I just want people to just be more informed of what's going on, because we have people out here with boots on the ground who are working to protect our interests. And I just don't think it's fair to just not even acknowledge who they are, to at least be aware of who they are and have some sense about what they're doing. So that's it for the news section or the news segment. I want to just touch on Black History Month, actually, Black holidays in terms of how it relates to business. And I really want to urge business owners, if you've just started, if you've already been in it for years, it doesn't matter. I want to admonish you to start thinking about Black holidays, start thinking about alternatives to the European holidays that we have been honoring and observing, and quite a lot of them we have observed erroneously. Like, we really don't have a correct and accurate understanding of what those holidays mean, why we're doing what we're doing, and we're just doing it. It's like that's all we've done. Our grandmothers did it, our mothers did it, now we're doing it. But you know what? That doesn't mean that it's correct. It doesn't mean that it's correct for us as a people. So we have to start really looking at how we're identifying ourselves through these mechanisms that were designed for us to assimilate to something else outside of who we really are. We can still acknowledge those. For those of you who still acknowledge Christmas, Halloween, which is I would never even, I don't do Halloween. But if that's you, you know, Valentine's Day was just passed. I'm pretty sure a lot of people really don't know what the history and the purpose and where how Valentine's Day even came about. But if you're choosing to acknowledge those, I'm not putting you down. Again, start thinking about alternatives, because with your business, there's some creative ways that we could take advantage of. Now we are already doing it, because I have worked with people and I know people who sell Afrocentric products like apparel and home goods and jewelry and things of that nature. And they usually, for the most part, follow the European holiday. So they have a sale, they start doing all their marketing, ramping all their marketing up. And that is really the opportunity, and the one of the main reasons why those traditional European holidays were created, because they commercialized them. You know, it becomes a money bag, and it becomes more. If you notice, if you look back from the time when you were a child to now, how much of a money bag purpose has Christmas become compared to what it used to be? Remember when you used to see Jesus in the manger? Do you still see Jesus in the manger? You know, and the Christmas parades, and you can't even recognize the characters they got in these parades now. So it's all fluff and flim flam, with no meaning. Doesn't have any meaning anymore. Like this, just empty purpose, no purpose whatsoever. Now, in order for us to look at how our imagery and purpose and uh, honor and culture, okay, how we identify those things and incorporate business with it and collect our own, create our money bag, okay, transfer our money so it's going between, us. Why not come up with alternate holidays? Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and I know it's going to always be some naysayers because you know what? There always are. It's always some haters. Haters make the world go round, so they can just keep on hating because it just motivates, right? You know, that's right. You can hate, but I'm gonna continue to motivate. So and so say for instance you have an apparel or a jewelry type of business or something like that, and Valentine's Day comes and you start ramping up your marketing. I'm not saying don't, give discounts and participate and bring your customers and bring and get that Valentine's Day money. No, no, no. I'm not saying that at all. Okay. I'm saying do that, but then, and you can plan this each time, each year when these periods of time come along, because it's people get in a mindset because they know it's coming, and let's not even talk about the guilt that is associated. That's the mindset that comes with Valentine's Day, right? Because if you didn't get the woman something, and if it wasn't the right thing, and then the man, and then okay, so they start getting ready for that, right? They're going to spend money, right? So if you have that type of business that you can easily roll out a discount program, do it for Valentine's Day, but you could maybe a week or two later create something like Black Love Day. And so, where there's red hearts, there's some other different imagery, you know, that you create that shows brown people, Black people in love, is celebrating Black love. And it doesn't even have to be a man and a woman relationship. It could just be that you're really getting people and keeping people motivated and keeping their mindset on appreciating each other, right? Because that's a real purpose for us to. Now, of course, we need to do that every day, just like relationships and romantic love, like that should be expressed every day. But we can create our own holidays by merely carving out some purpose, new meaning, right? And have it apply to us in our culture and how we live and how we think, right? So that's one way that we can create Black holidays and also take advantage of the business side of it. Um, Another thing I was thinking, which I'm going to practice myself, is because we're coming at the end of Black History Month. So I was thinking, wow, every year it's Black History, which is great. We look at people who we're proud of, who we feel have been overlooked, under celebrated, the unsung heroes of our Black American history, and that's wonderful. But where we are needing more education and more, again, it's like that mindset, that motivation. We need to get it in our minds that we are not just Black history in terms of time period. We are not just made up of this time period that goes just as far as slavery, right? So we can venture out and look at other parts of the world. There's things happening in Brazil. There are things happening in Africa. There's ancient African history. There's African spirituality that and the diaspora, where we exist in all these different places that we don't even really tap into in terms of exchanging information and honoring events, people, and places and things. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to designate March as um, uh, diasporan history, or I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, but it's going to be something like African History Month or something like that. I'm almost sure I'm going to use African History Month. Sometimes you just have to use a phrase that people connect to, but of course, I believe the diaspora would fit into that scheme so that we can expand on our understanding as to who we are as a people, because we have an indigenous history in this country, which means that that is prior to slavery, meaning some of us were already here, but we also have a connection to the rest of the Black world. And we are not, a lot of us so-called Black Americans, you say something about Africa, you say something about, oh, as Black people, someone points out we were in a certain country at a certain time, all of it automatically it's like, oh, well, that doesn't apply to me, that doesn't apply, and maybe it doesn't directly apply to you, but we need our minds to really open up more so that we can see ourselves as really more powerful and more strong and more and bigger in numbers, and that we have this presence in this world that the rest of the world wants, can't have, and doing everything they can to stop it. That's power. That's a powerful thing. And anyone who does not know their connection to that, whether it be spiritually, physically, through your lineage, through your DNA, through whatever connects, more importantly, psychologically, because that's where the mind transplant happened, in the scattering of everyone being scattered about. Okay, it's the mind transplant has to be undone so that the cohesiveness comes back together. Okay, so I'm going to be talking more about that on my other live. I will be doing that on Best BOB. I will be creating a totally different live for that because I feel like it requires more time, more conversation, more discussion, a deeper, level kind of exchange. So, oh, let's see. What you saying? Oh, National TED-tastic Day. Yeah, you said that before, and I was like, I didn't know what you meant when you, in the first part one of this live, you said that where we celebrate our kings and queens and all the mighty people. I like that, Coach Robinson. I really do like that. Okay, I'm gonna write this down, and then I'm gonna get with Ted. Me and Ted, we kind of go back. We go back a ways. I used to do a commentary on a radio show that was an online radio show he used to have. Shout out to Ted Harge if you happen to listen to this, my friend. Um, I'm writing this down, because I'm not going to be able to go back to this. Well, I can copy and paste it from the live, but I like to see things just a quick little word on a piece of paper. It puts me in the mindset. But so yeah, I used to work with. I used to do a show. I used to do commentary on Ted's show. But yeah, I like that idea about the kings and queens, because then we could talk about people like Queen Nzinga. We could talk about Mansa Musa. It's a whole lot, because I've been studying these people, and I'm gonna just like make a running list so that next month, those are the people that I'll be covering next month to talk about them, and hopefully get more people to understand who they are and just to see the full picture of our existence. Um, and Coach Robinson, I just have to mention, since we were talking about the wackish, crackish, and blackish, I have to go back to that teacher. That teacher that was on this was on the Mighty People Network. That's a group that Coach Robinson and I are both members of, which is founded by Ted Harge, my friend that I just mentioned. So Coach Robinson posted a picture of Mansa Musa, who was like the big um what do you call it? He was the richest man, okay, that ever known at that particular time. In This is in ancient African times in Africa. I can't think of the empire though. Which empire? Negus? Yes, and all the other Negus. Yeah, I did. I read the specific empire, but he was the richest. Okay. Yes, I agree with you, Coach Robinson. I love how we're all in the same frequency as well. So anyway, Coach Robinson put a picture of Mansa Musa on in his post, and said, I think you said something like, let's aren't we talking about him or introducing who he was? And the teacher posted, and her reply was, why are you putting this on here? Like, nobody knows who he is. And she said, but I'll go ahead and I'm saying this in her voice, like what I would imagine her voice to sound like, real ignorant. And she said, I why are you putting this on here? Like, nobody knows who this person is, and I'm gonna research it. Okay, I'm gonna research it. As if it's like you should have did your research before you opened your mouth, really, because other people on the post knew who he was. I knew who he was. And then Coach Robinson took her on a ride on a verbal Facebook um, tennis game. Back and forth. She hit the ball, he hit the ball back. Every time he hit the ball, she was having a hard time returning. Okay, it was hilarious. It was. Oh my goodness. He said, but you better check with the history teacher first. And she was a history teacher. That's what's so ironic. Black folk teachers, y'all might want to go over y'all's lessons before you start making these dumb comments on social media, because you getting dragged. We just gonna go on and drag you. Sorry, you have officially been dragged. Okay, and as well as you reparations naysayers. Oh man, that lady was great. And what was so funny about it is Coach Robinson kept saying, well, you keep responding. You could just stop talking if this is, offensive or you don't agree. And she would keep responding. It was absolutely insane. She would keep responding, like, and she was trying to fish for things to, like, because she wanted to have the last word, but she couldn't have the last word because she wasn't even on the topic. So it was so freaking funny. I'm almost in tears just thinking about it again. So okay, I'm past the hour now. So I gotta try to keep these to an hour, because I don't mind it actually doing longer lives. I'm not adverse to being on here like any uh restrictive amount of time, but I'm just trying to make it so that people viewing it aren't having to digest. I really do believe people have short ass attention spans nowadays, man. It's a trip. But anyway, that's why I probably won't be posting, typing any kind of post or anything before. I'm just gonna be doing videos because I can say what I want to say. I don't have to wonder what somebody else is gonna say. Just put it up there, do my thing, and whatever comes back, comes back. And I just feel like it's more engaging anyway. Facebook used to be engaging by text, but it feels more like a battle that people are having now. Who can say, who can beat them? It's not like, very few places where real good intellectual, insightful exchange is happening. So when you're doing lives, it's kind of like you feel like you can kind of control that a little bit more too. Um, so, okay, let me see what you're saying. Laugh out loud. I was just typing that about her. Then you started speaking about her. She was off the chain. Yes, she was. I had time on my hand that day. You sure did. She stepped out into traffic. She stepped out into traffic. Love being self-employed. She got ran over. She she stepped out into traffic and got clean ran over. It's like, oh gosh. You are so amazing. Love your flow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh wow. But it's partly because of you, because this is how, when I'm reading your posts, this is how I'm looking. When I'm typing and replying to you and reading the communication that's going back and forth, especially with that lady. This is how I look when I'm seeing your post. So the last part of this live is my product review. It's my product review section. So I just want to repeat again, um, if I didn't say it before. Now, if you're watching this video or you watching on the replay on YouTube, please subscribe. I am newly exploring the YouTube space. I want to see, what kind of engagement I can produce there. And then every social media outlet has algorithms as well. So I need you to subscribe. Click that subscribe button, and then next to it, it's a little notification bell. Click that bell, so then that'll let you know whenever I'm on live. And that's what the algorithms, pick up on. Hit the thumbs up button. Again, that lets YouTube's tricky dicky system know that somebody is interested in what's being said in this live. And then what else can you do on YouTube? You can subscribe, thumbs up, hit the thumbs up button, and of course, share. So share is wonderful. Now, if you're looking at this in the Facebook Best BOB group, I don't think you're going to be able to share. It seems like whenever I'm in groups, I can't really share. So if you click on the video, you might be able to share. But last time I looked at that, nope. Facebook tripping. So I would love it if you would like this video. If you're in Facebook, and in the group, you can like and comment. I believe those are the two main things. If you are watching this just on your regular Facebook profile, you should be able to either like, comment, or share. I would really appreciate any of those. I would prefer a share, but sometimes you just gotta take what you can get, because I know y'all folks, I know my people, some of y'all got some real short attention spans, okay? And I get it in a sense. I'm not trying to single out our people just like to make a sweeping statement, because when you're on social media, just in general, and I know it's the same with me, you only have so much time, right? You don't have time to be, looking at every single thing on there. So you might just scroll past, and you may have even viewed the video, but you just didn't have time to comment. So I understand that. But anything, even if you just something to click on to activate something to let the algorithms know that there is some interest in the content. All right. So I think that covers, well, no, I'm going to just ensure a couple of other things. If you would like to, I'm going to do this product review at the end here, and I don't want to redo all this housekeeping things at the end. So if you would like your product to be reviewed on my channel, please send me an email at thebestbobbiz@gmail.com. That's THEBESTBOB biz at gmail.com. I would love to do like some t-shirts if you've got a custom t-shirt thing going on, scarves, hats, sunglasses, jewelry. And I would even like to receive men's items as well, men's products, because I would have someone try it out. If it's something like personal items, it could be um, I'd say like maybe certain soaps or um, what do you call that? Like toiletries for men, shaving, like that's usually the kind of stuff, shaving products, because I would have my significant other try those out, and then I would do a product review based on that. So not just, doesn't necessarily have to be um, gender specific to me, as far as female related. And so I would like to see as many different products, variation of products as I can get my hands on, something that I can easily display on the screen, obviously, would be more conducive to being able to demonstrate it. So with that said, the company that I am doing a product review on today, they have men's and women's things as well. So I have a couple of items to share, and the name of the company is called Cloth and Cord. And I discovered them maybe about a month or two ago, and I looked through their website, and I just liked how they presented their items and everything. So for starters, now everything it's all Afrocentric. So this headband that I'm wearing, this is from Cloth and Cord, and it's just like African fabric. That the reason why they call it cord, because everything has this cording kind of formation to it, right? So they wrapped the cording and decorated the cording with different African fabrics. Same thing with this choker. And I just want to say that I really love the quality of the items that they make. It's got, nice durability to them. They're not all flimsy and cheap. And this one has like the 3 gold pieces in the middle there. The beads, those are beads that they put on each, like same thing as the headband. It's three rows. And I love how they did the closure is like this chain. See how that closes, and then they closed off the fabric ends with it's not leather, but it's a kind of like leather. I'm sorry, like leather, and they close the ends off very neatly with their label on the inside. So it's a very nice quality piece. You can tell they put quite an effort. It's not just slapped together. And then here is one other item that I got are these earrings here. Um, oh, Coach Robinson is asking a question. What's your channel name? How do we find you? Well, I haven't put the channel up yet. I just have written everything down, how I'm going to put it together. But once, because I have to set it up, I have to do the setup. And then what I'm going to do is you'll see that when I'll start posting. I need to fix this better. I'll start posting. Soon as when I put that first video up, I'm going to post it to Facebook. So you'll start seeing the post and you'll see the name of the channel. So these are the earrings that I got. And the only thing about these is I felt like they were a little heavy, which I mentioned in the first video that I didn't like that video because it didn't come out right. Let me see if I can get this out of the way so you can see. So it kind of feels a little heavy on my earlobe a little bit. But I was gonna send them back, and then I think I'm changing my mind because I don't wear stuff like this all the time. So I just don't want it to split the piercing of my earlobe from wearing something heavy, which I would have to wear something really heavy for a long time and frequently, I think, for that to happen. But they're so gorgeous, I just don't want to send them back. Really pretty. See? Isn't that cool? So they have the cording on there, same way as the headband and the choker. Okay, and then let me show you their packaging, which is really very special, I think. Anytime you pay for something when the packaging is nice, for me, I like to keep the packaging when it's nice because I know that what I paid, that packaging is part of what I paid for too. So this is look at that. Now, if that don't look like some Black African royalty, Nubian, okay, melanated people coming back to claim what is theirs, cloth and cord. I love that gold embossing. This is how the products came in this box. When I opened it, I loved how they had it put together. They had inside the box. And this is now, I need you business owners, aspiring business owners, I need you to really take note of all, because the reason why I am pointing out all these details and doing product reviews is to give you a sense of how people are putting their products together and what's making them pop, what's making them pocket. Okay. So when you open the box, this was on top. Okay. A thank you card. Okay. On the inside is a picture of the owner, her signature at the bottom, and a thank you note. Okay, so she personalized that. It's like a nice personalized touch to say thank you for your business. And then on the back of the card, they have the care instructions for the product that you purchase. Very cool. I love when things are done in good taste, right? Now, when you open the box, they have this tissue, and look how they had their logo put on the tissue as well. Isn't that cool? So, when I got the box, I was like really, really happy. It just, it's like you're really getting a special treat just looking at the box. So, what I am going to be doing in these product reviews is pointing out the features, what I like, what I feel satisfied with as a customer. And I'm going to be giving a rating at the end of my product review. So now I've been wearing these, on several different occasions. This headband, this choker, haven't had any problems. The earrings, as I already explained, I would not wear these all the time because I do feel they're a bit weighted. And that might not be the case for somebody else, like the ladies, might some of you out there might not have the same issue as I have, but I'm not going to send them back. I've decided to keep them because I think I can handle it for just one outing at a time, every now and then, and because they're just so beautiful. Um, and they do have men's items as well. I'm going to order something for my brother, and maybe I can do a product review separately on that. They have this same kind of rope detail, but it's in a necktie sort of formation, and you wear it like with a dress shirt, and it has some of the metal detail as well on it. So it's like they call it a necktie. It's not a traditional necktie. It's not a European necktie. It's a black folk necktie. And they also have African beads for the men that are it's a multicolor string of the beads that are on here. I don't know if you could really see that. So the beads go all the way around, and I think they have a larger bead in the middle, and then all the multicolor beads. They're probably ceramic or something like that go around the neck. Um, I know those are the two main items that they have for men. So now I'm ready to give my rating for cloth and cord. I'm just like extremely satisfied with, I use a scale from 1 to 5, and I try to base everything on a few attributes like um, pricing, product quality, delivery, like did it take a long time for me to get it, and customer service. So product quality is definitely a 5. Pricing, I would say, is really more like kind of like a 4, maybe even a 3, because I found them to be a little bit pricey. But however, the upside of that is, although you may be able to find these similar things for cheaper, I would be willing to bet that they don't have the same quality. You could tell the detail was had a lot of thought put into it, the way they put it together. So I'm going to say that's a 4. The delivery, as far as the shipping, that was, I'll say a 4 or a 5, although I would recommend that they put this box in a shipping pouch or something, because this went, it was shipped like this and it was thrown all over the shipping truck or whatever. And if you're like me, I like to keep boxes like that. I'm somewhat of a, what do you call it? I'm into the eco, conservative kind of conservation kind of thing too. I don't want to throw things away if I could reuse it. Plus, I had to pay, that extra pricing that they have. I'm paying for them to be able to package it so nicely. So I like to keep I like to keep boxes like that. And then the last part would be their customer service. I'm going to say the customer service is a 5, because I sent an email saying that, I wanted to find out what their refund and exchange policy is, because I was thinking about returning the earrings. And they gave me the information. They told me all of the policy instructions, what I needed to do, no questions asked. So that was great. And another great thing that they did was, when I did a review on their website, which was just clicking on, it was like 3 buttons. And they asked me, like, what do you think about the choker? And I just clicked the button, what do you think about the headband? And I went down the line, each item, and they gave me, I think, a 15% discount. So I'm going to be making more purchases from Cloth and Cord, and I can't wait to get another treat and another beautiful box from them. And I think all in all, they had a 4 and a 5 and a 4. I'm going to say they're like a 4.9 if I added up everything. On a scale from 1 to 5, I'm giving Cloth and Cord 4.9, and happy to do business with them again. And look forward to bringing you guys some more products in the future, some more Black news that pertains to us. I will be letting you know. You'll be seeing posts. I'll just keep posting until you catch on to that YouTube channel that I'm going to set up. And then you'll continue to see posts for Best BOB as well, only focusing on product reviews and business related tips. And that could involve some things that are happening in our B1 movement, because a lot of our focus is on business. So those things are going to cross over naturally. But I'm not going to get deep as I did today on Wackish, Crackish, and Blackish. That's gonna be only on YouTube. Alrighty, so glad that Coach Robinson, that you hung in here with me, and whomever, please, if you listen to or if you watch the replay, click on something, comment something, and let me know that you got it. Alrighty, till next time, this has been Best BOB, Melody I Am, and yes, I am Melody, and I hope you are being who you are all the way, all day. Till next time, peace out.